Brooks Kubena of the Houston Chronicle had, I thought, a very interesting piece with some tidbits I was not aware of with this Texans team that I'm trying to focus on, but just having a hard time really caring. I think a lot of you guys are right there. But the Texans, who have a minus 58-point differential through 9 games, if you average that out, they've lost most of their games by just 1 score, which is a lot better than last year where they were a minus 172. They lost 14 games by an average of 15 points. But the Texans, per Kubena and the research he did, have barely had a lead in any of the games they've played this year. Of the 526 plays the Texans offense ran this season, 60, just 60, have been called while the team held a lead. That's crazy. That play percentage, 11.4, is worse than it even was last year, where it was 24.6. And when you're down, you can't exactly operate in an offense the exact way that you would like to. The piece continues. Half of those plays from ahead were in the season opener against the Colts. First-year offensive coordinator Pep Hamilton called 33 of his 60 plays where the Texans have held a lead against the Colts. And that 20-3 lead, of course, evaporated. So it's not necessarily like having a lead is going to make the Texans offense better. In fact, you could say the Texans offense got worse, way worse, in that Colts game. They had a great third quarter, fourth quarter. Davis Mills gets hit a couple of times, and all of a sudden everything goes to bleep. Kubena was at Davis Mills' press conference this week. This made the rounds all over Texans Reddit and all the Davis Mills conspiracy theorists, of which there still are some who like Davis Mills, saw him say this and thought, maybe he's attacking Pep Hamilton here. He's calling him out. I will leave that up to you before I give my take on it. Here is Davis Mills yesterday at his press conference after being asked by Brooks Kubena about the just sheer lack of plays the Texans have had a lead this year.
Davis, since week 1, you guys have had 27 total plays with a lead. Does it feel like that in the game? How does that, influence how you guys play?
We talked about it a little bit. I didn't know that was the actual amount of plays. It feels like we're playing people close a lot, not just 27 plays. But, I think it just goes to show we got to come out aggressive from the start of the game. Don't try to play too conservative from the start. Come out like we're playing from behind when it starts 0-0 and stay aggressive and drive down the field and get points. And I think that'll help us out, putting up more points and just moving the football.
He's so low energy when he speaks, a bit of an energy vampire, I think, that it's easy to kind of zone out when he talks. But the things to focus in there, can't start out conservative. You have to find a way to play like we're trailing as the game continues. What does that mean? Does that mean throwing the football down the field more? And a lot of the Davis Mills tinfoil hatters out there will point to last year how Mills had a top 5 deep passer accuracy percentage. I don't think that that's something to point at and say, hey, he should throw the football down the field more, because it's not just about the quarterback's ability to put the ball in the proverbial bucket. It's also about the wide receivers that you're throwing to. I don't think Nico Collins has taken the steps forward this season that were hinted at by many of the extremely over-optimistic folks online who follow this team. I don't think he's taken really significant steps forward. Mills clearly likes him, but I think part of that has to do with the fact that Brandon Cooks doesn't want to be here. Jordan Akins has been a nice little revelation, but again, are you looking at Jordan Akins as somebody who's a foundational piece of this offense going forward? So do you think that Davis Mills was calling out Pep Hamilton there? I think in a way he was. I don't think he intended to. I don't think this was an intentional act like you would see from an Aaron Rodgers, who we played a cut from yesterday, where he's saying, I didn't like any of the plays that were called by Matt LaFleur. I think it's, hey, we have to find a way to have the lead more, and that's the way he answered it. I would say, had Mills put on the hat in the way that Rodgers did with LaFleur, I think there would be more people that would be behind him. I think the big problem for Mills, in addition to the fact that he's not very mobile and he's not very exciting to watch as a player, is that the personality is completely lacking too. And if you give him a little bit of pizzazz, a little bit of flair, I think there might be a few more people that would be saying, all right, let's be patient with him. But it's hard to really justify being patient with the guy other than the fact that because of the Texans' cap situation over the last couple of years, they really couldn't afford a good veteran backup quarterback to have behind him. That's why they're stuck with Kyle Allen. And yeah, I say stuck. Kyle Allen would be worse than Mills. I feel very confident in saying that. There's a reason that Kyle Allen has not been a very good quarterback anywhere that he has gone. So looking at Mills there, I'm curious. Do you think that he was calling out Pep Hamilton? Sean, did you hear that? Do you feel like he was calling him out? I think he was in a way, but I don't think he meant to say like, hey, Pep Hamilton and we just don't see eye to eye.
Yeah, no, I see it kind of that way, where it's the situation where you inadvertently insult someone or inadvertently call someone out, but you actually, like, he's being truthful where he's like, I wish we would just play like we're behind all the time. But it comes off as, I wish we would be more aggressive. That's on Pep Hamilton. Like, I think he's being honest in what he thinks, but in that, he is criticizing Pep Hamilton, but he's not doing it, like you said, like Aaron Rodgers does. Like, I don't know, pick a quarterback will do from time to time.
Right. Russell Wilson in his own way.
I thought about him, but I didn't want to, or Kyler Murray or someone like that.
Kyler Murray would do it publicly. Russell Wilson would do it passive-aggressively through...
And then have his agent leak out.
Yes. Mark Rodgers, his agent, would say something to Colin Cowherd. Mark Rodgers, his agent, would send something out. And then, yes, the rest would take care of itself. Murray, I don't know how Murray would handle it in a press conference situation, but I do think that on the sideline, you would see either just active bleep off eyes from him or active not caring when other people are frustrated with him. I've called Kyler Murray the cat man in the past because I think that he is half cat, half man. There are some tendencies that remind me of Cat's antisocial tendencies that he has. A kind of like, yeah, I'm just going to do what I want, play Call of Duty, play football, do what I want, wear a pink suit, say that the movie The Great Gatsby is the greatest movie ever. But circling back, the big problem with the Texans right now, I think for all of us, is that we wish that there was just one easy thing to blame. 2016, it's Brock Osweiler. It was so obvious. Years before, you could argue that in 2013, when things hit the fan, that Gary Kubiak had kind of lost the command of the locker room and things had gotten a little bit predictable and stale, and the team, I guess, wasn't putting in the same effort it had before. Andre Johnson even said, hey, we just didn't have as many good players as we had in the past. Other guys that we have looked at to blame. I mean, Bill O'Brien for everything. But right now, you can't point at one. There's no quick fix. It almost feels like the fix is, once again, starting over. It's getting rid of Lovie Smith because this defense can't tackle and is on pace to give up 3,000 yards rushing. It's getting rid of Pep Hamilton because this offense is listless, uses Rex Burkhead too much, has way too many weird formations where they start off with like 8 offensive linemen on the field and try to run the power I, or then have those offensive linemen go out wide and then come back out with this weird little motion thing that doesn't actually do anything. It's Davis Mills not feeling comfortable throwing the football to the sidelines, not looking comfortable after he gets hit once in the pocket. And the list goes on and on and on, along with some young players who clearly are just learning how to play in this league. Like, there's lots of different reasons that this team is not very good.